You're watching Total Access at the NAB AFL Draft Combine. Damien Barrett with Paul Daffy and Jason McCartney, and today's special guest, former Essendon great Matty Llyod, who now has a role as AIS-AFL Academy Assistant Coach. Matty, good afternoon.
Thanks, Damien.
What is your role with this Combine?
So I'm assistant coach to Jason over here, who's the senior coach of the AIS-AFL Academy, along with Tom Harley and Michael O'Loughlin. We also assist Jason in coaching the boys, but we also mentor. There's 30 boys in the program. We all mentor 10 each. So aside from we're in camp for probably 40 to 50 days a year, and the rest of those we stay in touch by email, go and watch them play, take them out to AFL clubs. So it's been a really good role over the last year.
And you put your name to one of the tests at this Combine, the clean hands test. There's a bit of dispute over it. The guy down the table reckons it's his test, and there's also been some disparaging remarks out there today by the recruiters saying that you and clean hands, handballing, wasn't the strongest suit of yours.
I know. I actually only handballed if I had to, really. But anyway, Jason called me and said, obviously we had Nathan Buckley's kicking test the year before. Yep. We wanted to devise a handball test, and we brainstormed over one afternoon. I took it away and we fine-tuned it, and we came up today, and we're pretty happy with how it started, Jason.
You did a great job with it, Damo, and we did need the profile, my profile, Matthew Llyod and Nathan Buckley, so we left it with Llyod, and it worked really well today, didn't it?
It did. I think so. What happened was the strongest kids stood out. Obviously, we had a boy, Josh Caddy, who is highly rated from the Northern Knights. He was a standout with it, and Mitch Wallace, the son of Steve. Obviously, there's me out on the track. Obviously, I'm a bit sore. I hadn't kicked. I had about 300 kicks today, so I hadn't kicked the footy for a while. But that's Andrew Gaff, who was just involved in the program. He's a class act. He made those kicks look good. But it was really enjoyable. I know that the kids were a bit nervous, but Simon Black and also, you'd say, a Joel Selwood are elite at the test today.
Matty, are players born with the ability to take the ball cleanly, or is it a skill you can learn?
I'd say some are born with it, Paul, but I know it's something that didn't come naturally for me. But obviously, Sheed's my first ever training session. I marked the ball on my chest, and Sheed said, "You're not going to go too far as a full forward, centre half forward, unless you mark it out here." It's just that one little message. I took it away, and it became a key part of my game. So they can learn it.
But take us, Paul. We're just going to have a look at some of the results of the tests today, and then we'll talk further beyond that. But as you said, Josh Caddy was the leader today. Yeah,
efficiency's everything in today's game. You will not be recruited at AFL level if you can't kick over 70%. These boys, just over 6 attempts, you get ranked out of 5. So the maximum score was 30. Obviously, Josh and Dyson Heppel, who was the Morris Medal winner, went at 93% as well. Mitch Wallace and Gerald Ugle, who was with the AIS Academy as well, and Jacobs Jace will also be a high draft pick as well.
Yeah, it's great. Look, Gerald obviously is here trying out for a position with the Greater Western Sydney team, and Ben Jacobs, who also kicked really well in the kicking test. So good result to be able to the clean hands. And I suppose the one thing about the test is it's really more than just designed just for these boys. It's to send a message down to lower level that to be an AFL player and to get to a combine, it's not just about running what we talked about yesterday, the 20-metre sprints and the agility. It's the skills is a really important component.
And some people, obviously there's always going to be holes that can be picked in a test, and some people might say, oh, what about a ball machine for accuracy and this and that. But over the course of the 6 balls that come at them, there might be one that doesn't go favourably, but guys like Josh, Andrew Gaff, the elite players will make something of that target and others won't, and that's what AFL recruiters would have seen today.
That's right. So clean hands is not just taking the ball, it's what you do with it once you get it.
Yeah.
So what do Simon Black and Joel Selwood do that others players can't?
I think they'll get down low, they'll get their feet in a better position, obviously their hands, and also as I rolled the ball, I'm also making a call of where they need to handball. So then a decision making comes into it as well. So you've got your head down on game day, you're hearing Llyod, and it's about knowing where that voice is, and that was what it's about today. So it tested the kids' concentration as well.
Now, 1994, you attended the first ever draft, what was a draft camp there out at Waverley. This is the second time you've been around, now draft combine. What's changed from those early days?
Well, it was 4 or 5 hours out at Waverley over one day, and there was no balls were touched.
No Under Armour gear then?
No Under Armour gear. I remember I was wearing an old rag of a singlet or something. We're in alphabetical order. The first guy I met was Scott Lucas, so we obviously played together for 15 years after that. But the boys now have every opportunity, more so than the amount of guys that came into the system, got spat out back in '94 was unbelievable because they weren't told what. But these guys get the access to obviously development coaches, sports psychologists, and they should make it with everything that's put in front of them.
You were down one end of the field today with the clean hands testing, and up the other end was the kicking assessment. Did you get a look at what went on here as well?
I didn't today because I was down the other end, but obviously I've been through and I've watched players test. But the problem is, Damien, before this happened and this aspect wasn't involved, guys would get, say for example, don't embarrass David Myers, he was taken pick 7 in the draft. He got to Essendon, they didn't know he couldn't handball on his non-preferred side. So it's just now gives them a bit of a snapshot through a game of footy. They're that dominant, these kids, that you can get away with just getting on your preferred side, whereas gave a little snapshot on kicking and handballing, what their non-preferred side's like.
And one of the Bulldogs' father-son players, Mitch Wallace, was good in the clean hands test, but in the kicking assessment, Tom Liberatore fared pretty well today as well.
He did. He was in the top 3, and the boy Jed Lamb from Gippsland Power took it out. Jason, he's a pretty prolific goal scorer.
Yeah, he's a class act. He's played predominantly as that small, medium to medium forward, but what we've seen throughout the NAB Under-18 Championships this year in the latter stages of TAC Cup and finals, his ability to get up around the midfield and just his ball use and decision making, so that is the best score we've seen. Last year we had Dustin Martin, which was about an 83-84%. Yeah, this is the best, and that's at 97% Jed Lamb went at, so he only missed one.
It's a pretty big score. Aaron Young also going at 87%. Where's he likely to go?
Yeah, well, it's a great result for Aaron Young. He's been through our program at the AIS Academy, and Aaron's one that probably has had a focus on his kicking over probably an 18-month period. So this is a great result. He's a versatile player. He covers the ground pretty well, but he's a hard matchup because he's about that 6'3", 6'3.5", marks really well. So a good result. So something like this, clubs may have thought kicking may be a weakness. This really does advance him a little bit maybe in the pecking order.
Matty, you can't let you go without asking about the events of Essendon. It's been a huge week. It's probably been in play for some time, but James Hird coming back as coach, it's obviously pleases Essendon fans, and I dare say you. Maybe
a big call, but I think it's the greatest week we've had since we won the premiership, to be honest. Like, there hasn't been too much to cheer about. We've probably been on the downward spiral, you know, when towards Sheeds, the back of Sheeds' time, and we've limped in the finals. We've never really challenged, and just the excitement that the place needed, and you know, to see Sean Wellman, obviously just spoke to Dean Bailey's quite disappointed, so just bringing great names, and hopefully there'll be a few more announcements over the coming weeks. Time's going to tell, but obviously he's a very driven man. People will say Michael Voss is as well, but I just think that it's worth the punt because of his grounding and how much he loves the game.
And will Mark Thompson join him in your eyes? You're very well tapped in there. Is he going to join Hird as footy operations director?
I think it's still up in the air, but I'm hoping he does, Damien. That's all.
I think you know more than you say.
No, mate, there's a lot of wheeze in that answer. I think he's part of the coaching team.
Is that part of your plans?
No, not at the moment.
Not at the moment? That's what James Hird said 3 weeks ago.
What did he?
Not at the moment.
Okay, well, hopefully they've got some money left.
But just on that, will you be heading down a coaching path at some stage? If it's not next year with the club, would it be at some stage?
Well, I don't want to be a senior coach, so it's...
James Hird said that once too.
Well, no, but I'm adamant it's not for me. I was stressed enough out as a player, let alone being a senior coach, and so I think the development side's more an area that I want to go down.
We had these kids in raptures today at this speech you gave pretty early this morning at the theatre here at the AIS. What were you telling them?
Oh, just about that last 2 years ago, Sidebottom was here and he's playing in a grand final, and my brother Brad drove me in. There's 2 guys called Bollenhagen and Crichton, 2 skinny kids, thinking we are so far off playing AFL footy, and that if you make the most of it, I just hate guys coming in for their first year in an AFL club and they think it's a holiday and they just waste their first year, and it's just about making an impact. And the more you put into it, you can get some great rewards out of playing this game.
Matty, appreciate your time today on Total Access. You've got a bit more work to do, and then back to Melbourne, but thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah. I don't think he'll coach. I think he's gone from a rookie in the media this year to an A-grader in 6 months. So
he's a superstar in the media.
Thanks,
he should have won a couple of awards at the recent awards nights, Jace, I reckon. So, this is Total Access. We're coming up. We've got Guy McKenna, we've got Trade Talk, and we also have a full wrap of today's testing. Total Access at the NAB AFL Draft Combine, and for all your drafting news, afl.com.au, also the footy channel on Big Pond TV, 5:30 and again at 9. Total Access from the AIS in Canberra.